All right, we're live. And man, we are on a roll, Bernie. Last week I went to Florida, flew out to Tampa Bay to meet my man Dan Jones, who runs the Concrete podcast. That's Concrete with a K.
That
Go
was
check out that
epic.
podcast. He's interviewed a whole bunch of like CIA people, NSA people, UFO people. He's into like all this kind of secret, FBI conspiracy, all that stuff, man. He's into it. And he's got a great channel. Those dudes are super cool. They flew me out there. We recorded for like 6 hours. We ended up throwing 2 hours away. Can't be an alien scientist podcast without some kind of audio glitch, right? So we got like 2 hours in and we figured out there was like an audio problem and it ended up being
That's the worst.
I was like searching around on my hands and knees looking for like bugs because he had like a CIA dude in on the interview like 2 days before. And I'm like, all right, they knew I was coming or something. And I'm like,
the bugs are on our smartphones now, though, right? It's you're not gonna find the physical.
We all like that was the first thing I did. We did was put all of our phones in the other room,
Yeah.
And then we started trying to debug wires and other stuff from there, and we eventually figured it out and traced it to the Behringer board, man. And it's just it was whatever. But anyways, and then this week we went to DC, bro. There I am. Let's take the pictures down. I don't know if you can see me in the. Oh. Oh, you can't hear me.
Hear you talk while you're
I'm on the stream. There's Mark. There's Mark on this side with Aiden, and this dude is Dan Warren. He's on Twitter and he's got a YouTube channel. He's big into UFOs and stuff. And I talked and met like all the people in this room. I mean, there was only 20 seats available. That's why we showed up like mad early, thinking it was going to be packed. I was thinking there was going to be a line out the door inside this place, dude. Totally,
right. Your head is right above my little screen right there. There's Jeremy sitting there, and there was empty seats, like 20 people allowed in, and there was 4 empty seats. And also, I know you're in DC. This already happened. Jeremy's back home now, but the next time, because we got this reoccurring.
But hey, no, we kept the receipts though. We have a video, so they did not let us speak during the session. It was a kind of sit down and listen type thing. And be polite and respectful, or you get thrown out. And we didn't want to get thrown out. We wanted to kind of wait until and talk to the senator and everyone directly. This was Miss Rosen in here. She was the only senator that came in for this unclassified section. Okay, a lot of people were commenting like, "Oh, look at none of the senator seats were filled, and they were all the senator seats were empty and stuff." And that was one thing I did notice, but I need to mention that there was a classified hearing that morning, like for an hour.
All the good stuff, and then they're like, "This is what we're gonna play for the public." Yeah. And there's one senator that cared, and then the one senator that was in charge of
the classified hearing, but they realized that like they're not going to get anything out of a public hearing except that that it's just a chance to extend a reach to the public and show them that they care. And a lot of them don't want their face or other things associated with this topic. I have to give hats off to Senator Gillibrand for, sticking her neck out there and being so open to the public. And she was super kind and open to everyone. And she just said, I'm going to take your information and I'm going to pass it along and we're going to see what we can do with it and see, and it was kind of interesting because like, a lot of comments were coming from skeptics and stuff, because the first guy that spoke out right at the end of the hearing was a dude right in the front row here, actually next to Aiden, right next to Mark's girlfriend there. She was the only woman in the room besides the officer there. But yeah, this dude right there with the like lighter like blondish kind of hair. I guess he records UFOs with his cell phone and everyone's commenting like, oh, this dude thinks the data he collects with his cell phone in his backyard is better than what our military collects and what they're being briefed on. But I want to point out something first is that there's something called Title 50. Why don't you look up Title 50 on a Google search and bring that slide up on a share screen, Bernie.
Okay, Title 50.
Yeah, Title 50. So this is a big thing, right? Title 50. Title 50. And anyone who wants to look that up can read up on this. What Title 50 is protections with intelligence. It's basically, and CIA, NRO, and other classified operations are in war and national defense are not available. So they don't have Title 50. The Aero program does not have Title 50, which means they're only, getting about 20% of the intelligence scoop, of the scoop of the total intelligence pool. That means about 80% of, what's going on out there, they're not going to be aware of or know about. Like any kind of CIA or NRO operation.
Or even legally allowed to know about.
Yeah. So that right there is key, because that goes and tells you what kind of stuff they're actually hearing in that classified section, the hearing that happened before this, So everyone, is kind of like wondering what's going on in that classified hearing. And I guarantee it's something very close to, I don't think they're going in the kind of deep dive research that I did, but it's something very close and similar to my UAP technical summary, where they're just talking about state-of-the-art sensors, data collection, and maybe, foreign intelligence on Chinese balloons and drones and stuff, because Gillibrand was quick to, mention drones. We're going to watch the actual video of the interaction we had, because this is better than the hearing itself. This is just the raw file. So let's get right into this. Oh, all right. We're going to share this video. Here's Dr. Kirkpatrick, who's the head of ARROW, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And this is Senator Gillibrand, who is basically spearheading this push for UFO transparency and answers, since the New York Times article drew attention to this, she said.
Do you want to send that video to me, Frank? If you can email it to Frank, we can send it to Dr. Kirkpatrick. We'll take your video. We'll take anything that you want to share, because we're here to be very serious about our scientific review.
I just want to say thank you for having this hearing.
You're welcome.
Look forward to more hearings and hopefully more probing questions.
Yes. Yeah.
May I ask you one question?
So
Sure.
is there some way I can send you some of the footage? Like,
No, not yet. Yes, and I don't think that. I don't know that it exists.
Doctor,
I don't know that it exists.
in Hawthorne, New Jersey, we run a lab researching alternative propulsion concepts,
Okay.
warp drive or dynamic nuclear orientation to reduce the inertial mass of objects. You could learn everything over here. That takes us straight to our research videos and stuff.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Maybe more probing questions.
He couldn't get out of there fast enough, man. He just made a beeline for the door. He stopped to like take a few selfies and kind of see what was going on, but he just was like, nope,
And
I'm out of
right
here.
just ducks out.
I did get a chance to have a few words with, like off camera with him. I just basically told him what I was
That
about.
reporting is interesting to hear that allegedly no one has been
Impress him or whatever.
The video.
has been shared with anything about that.
I'll find out. I'll look into
And
it.
the other
Yeah,
objects.
I'll look into it.
She was very kind.
I'll look into it.
Senator, thank you for putting this together. And
My pleasure.
this is really a historic
I will ask
moment.
those questions because I didn't have that information, so I'll ask about that.
I appreciate you having this hearing again. It's disappointing that no more of your colleagues.
Well, more
showed up.
people came to classified,
I understand
so,
that, yeah.
but we got to ask our questions over
Some of their
for
staff
unclassified.
Yeah.
They did. A lot of people were very interested. So part of my goal is to make sure that we elevate the issue so the senators can understand what's happening.
Well, again, I appreciate you doing what seems like the most on this, and look forward to a lot more.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning, and I think you can feel comfortable that Dr. Kirkpatrick is taking this extremely seriously. He's doing the hard work. And to the extent he experiences roadblocks, I will be pushing back on those roadblocks on his behalf.
I've asked your staff and the armed services and intelligence community about reporting directly to Arrow. Armed services told me that they wouldn't take a report and convey it to
Arrow
Arrow.
will.
But
I
there's
can take
no.
reports. I can.
So
So you can give me reports.
Yeah.
I can get them to Dr. Kirkpatrick.
The only reason I'm here is mainly because of that fact that it was hard to reach out to their office because I'm not very much in the community or like a
I
journalist.
think it's
digging
hard for
into it,
DoD to set this up. So as soon as we have the public-facing
Yeah.
portal, it'll be
Yeah.
easier to make reports.
Yeah, I'm looking into something on behalf of a former member of the military who had a firsthand encounter of something back in 1986 that's just absolutely
Well,
wild and
please encourage him to
bewildering.
report to Dr.
I don't think he wants to
Kirkpatrick.
come forward, but I've FOIA'd on his behalf his deck logs from the day that
Okay.
incident occurred. And they're
Well,
missing
if he's
from the record.
comfortable meeting with us confidentially, we're happy to meet with him.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Frank,
what
did
he
you give him your
alleges to have
card?
occurred is wild and fascinating, and then the treatment he received and the threats from the Navy afterwards.
You all can, we will be your,
Appreciate it.
we can be your interface until the public office is set up.
I don't think he'll come forward, but I'll share it with you.
But he
the
can even
evidence of
sit
his
down with
case.
me and Frank.
Yeah.
Like we meet with constituents all the time confidentially.
Yeah.
I interview a lot of scientists.
Anyway, I won't
Along
talk
with
your
the
head.
I
I'll
think
share
with
with you
background in physics and a lot of technical research on this.
I outlined
We
his
try to
case,
find people who worked on this.
what was your
and
history?
get their stories
the
and
via
try
FOIA
to
from the Navy.
break that information down to non-technical audiences.
Well, to the extent you can get them to interview with Dr. Kirkpatrick is very helpful.
Yeah,
Because as he just testified, he's had 24 come in.
Yeah,
And these are, scientists and
I know a number of people.
Senator, are you familiar with the Mansfield Amendment from 1973? It basically
Yeah.
blocked all research into alternative propulsion concepts or stuff like that that go against Einstein's theory.
Right.
And
Anti-gravity,
and
all that
I
stuff
mean,
stopped.
we started our own lab researching this stuff. You can find the our
Yeah.
YouTube channel where
Great.
we show all our experiments and stuff.
Great.
And there's no government funding coming for this stuff. It's
Well, there's
all
some good
privately
drone,
funded.
there's some good drone technologies that are emerging that are
No,
very
we're,
interested.
we're talking about stuff that don't eject anything. We're talking about warp drive, dynamic nuclear orientation to make matter weightless.
Thank you again. Thank you for bringing your research. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Enjoy it.
I'm going to enjoy it. Thank you. And thank you for giving Dr. Kirkpatrick a copy. Very grateful.
I've heard a lot of rumors, like Jack Fillet, for instance, he found a note in J. Allen Hynek's called the Pinnacle Memorandum, and it talked about in J. Allen Hynek's notes that there was possibly another Project Blue Book that was run by a Howard C. Cross of Battelle, and that this Battelle Memorial Institute may have been involved in first off, it's a nonprofit, private, quasi-governmental organization, which is completely not outside of your oversight.
Yeah.
And its existence since the 1930s. There's rumors of scientists who worked there that said that they were given
Thanks for
metals
coming. Really
that they
appreciate it.
believed came from off-world.
Interesting.
And I think that if they're hiding this anywhere, it would be in a quasi-governmental organization like this, which is outside of.
That makes sense.
Ooh, it's breaking up a bit. Jeremy, maybe pause it for a sec. It's breaking up pretty bad for me here, or is it playing fine for you? In the audience, please let me know if it's Jeremy or it looks like it was Jeremy's stream that lost the connection. I wonder if they maybe yeah, he did freeze. Okay, so hopefully he comes right back, and it wouldn't be a live alien scientist stream, if there wasn't issues like Jeremy said, right? Just ridiculous. And look, my other camera's not even working. It just wow. Yeah, so we're gonna wait for Jeremy to hopefully rejoin us. Good thing I was here so that it just didn't end. If I don't know. Hopefully he'll be right back. And the amount of times this happens, like especially Dutch Synths, like he's recorded having the internet shut off on him over like thousands of times, literally every time that he tries going live on YouTube. That's why he has to pre-record and then upload them, because when he goes live, they literally cut his internet every single time. And you can watch him recording it live and it happen, and him just like lose his mind, getting so frustrated because it just keeps happening. It's literally in every second Dutch Synths video. He's calling me right now. Hello, did you lose service? They killed his whole internet. All right. So do you want to join back in from your phone, or should I just end it? Or you're trying to come back in? Yeah. They shut off. So his kids are here. I should put you on speakerphone. So his kids are watching a movie, and his kids' movie also shut off. They shut off his whole internet.
All right, the movie's back on. That's connected back. I don't know what the heck happened there.
So I was explaining how this happens to Dutch Synths. Literally every time he does a live, they cut it off on him, and like you can see it in his videos. Just he gets so frustrated, and now that he has to record and then preload them up so he doesn't get cut off during his videos each day. It's ridiculous. And you guys saw it live here happen to Jeremy, and the fact that they cut it off, even his kids' movie stopped working. And
my whole internet went out. I don't know if it was like maybe someone hit a pole or something around here. We'll see. But
well, if they hit a pole, it should take time to fix it, right? It shouldn't just have to be a surge for it just to cut out and then reboot.
Yeah, it's totally out though.
Oh, it's still totally out.
I haven't come back yet. Damn. And I was just playing the good part, man, while I was telling her about Battelle.
Right, like just insane. But that's why we multi-stream. That's why we do this live, so that you can see it and we can beat the censorship, get the truth out there, and hold the government accountable.
Holy crap. No internet, so.
Still no internet?
I can't. See if I can't connect this over here to it.
Okay, we're gonna let Jeremy try to reconnect or connect through the internet a couple more ways here, and if he cannot, we will just end this stream and have to replay it in the future. But hopefully this is not a trend that starts happening in every episode.
Dude, I already have 111,000 subscribers, and I get like 100 people watching live tops. Like they already cut enough out, and I advertised for this ahead of time.
Yeah,
and a ton of people waiting for this. So
exactly, right? It's crazy. Just crazy how much these censorship algos and systems and how much resources they're putting into just suppressing basic government accountability and basic journalism. Simon's saying it'll be harder to cut you off when you're on Rogan. And yes, make sure everybody to share these videos out, to share these live recordings of, and he's back.
Here we are. All right. I hung up, man. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there with it just shut off on me. I'm going to try to share this tab again. We're going to rewind it a little bit here. Yeah, the 5-minute mark is when I start talking. If people want to go to this video, it's on Falcon Space.
I'll share the link in a minute. Sorry, I just missed a call from the wife while I was on the phone with you, so I'm going to call her back. I'll be right back, and then I will post the link to this whole video on Falcon Space in the live chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this. Hold on.
Have you heard of the Blue Room?
Not yet.
So
What's the Blue
Senator
Room?
Barry Goldwater was going after, apparently there's a Blue Room at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base where they hold all the UFO metals and debris, and it's outside of oversight.
Well, my hope is that Dr. Kirkpatrick, through his scientific message, basically gets to the bottom of these things so that I can get to it, because
Yeah.
I don't have access to any of it. So
We're trying to build one
yeah.
in Hawthorne, New Jersey.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to subvert that whole disclosure process and say, well, we have technology. We don't need to wait for the government to admit to
Right.
something.
Well, that's what's interesting. And that's why I asked the last question about the scientific community and the academic community, because the scientific and academic communities can be so advanced on these issues.
Oh, we are.
Because you have brilliant minds, you've got the resources from big companies. But I hadn't heard the thing about Battelle.
Battelle.
How do you spell it?
Battelle. Battelle Memorial Institute.
BAE?
Two
T's, 2 L's.
Yeah, BMI. It's in Columbus, Ohio. They're about 45
Will they
minutes
let me
from
visit?
Wright-Patterson. They might.
I would call them
Yes,
up.
ma'am.
Can you call up, Frank, and see?
They
Can we have a
they
visit?
would be happy to have you visit.
Yeah, Howard Cross.
Do you see that? How she's like ready to, she's talking like she's ready to go to Wright-Patterson and visit and Battelle, right? And I mean, in Columbus, it's about 45 minutes from Battelle. But I thought that this was,
Mike knows it was a joke, but that's the whole point. They want you to, the average person, to think Mattel. Like, so many times people have actually asked that question, like, legitimately, isn't it a kid's toy company? And it's like, no, that's Mattel. Battelle owns all the secrets, all the crashed different space items and recovered objects and different metamaterials, and then the
Apparently,
research behind
rumor.
it.
But you know that they it's fact that they manage all of our national laboratories. So when she's talking about the scientific and academic communities, I mean, this is like they have a stranglehold over our nation's science and, you know, with our national labs. So how can anything get confirmed or peer reviewed if they have this kind of monopoly on the scientific peer review vetting process? It's just it's insane. I thought it was really interesting. This guy gave me his information and told me to contact him. And, you know, I don't want to dox him, but I'll tell a couple of my close friends. I'll tell you, Bernie, and a couple of other my friends what his name was in case, you know, he's the guy hired to shut my stream down or whatever. You know, because he's just like interrupt. Watch this, how he interrupts real quick, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sure they'd be happy to arrange that for you." Look at this, look at this smile.
I would call them
Yes,
up.
ma'am.
Can you call up, Frank, and see?
They
Can we have a visit?
would be happy to have you visit.
Howard Cross was the director, and he's mentioned in that Pinnacle memorandum. Which,
I want to go visit. Road trip.
yeah, I'll go.
We just took a road trip down from Hawthorne, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Thank
New
you for
Mexico.
coming. I'm really glad you guys could come and show me what you got.
It's great to finally meet you.
I've seen this. This is a real picture. This is what the NRO is flying.
Oh man, yo, I can't believe we did it. I can't believe we did that.
Right?
That was,
And it's like putting your money where your mouth is, spending your own dollars just to freaking get there. And, you know,
Mark
like holding
actually,
the government.
you know, fronted me the money. You know, mostly he put it up front. You know, I'm supposed to like. I was hoping I'd do something, but it was just I ended up going a little bit over budget, man, because DC's so expensive and everything, and just
They've caused such inflation, and they're just so disconnected to the average person and the situation of the average American and citizen, and that it's like, they're like, go away. Why are you here? Why are you trying to hold us accountable? And like the director, the person that's like hired to do this, like literally booked it, ran away immediately. The video they showed was of like either a drone or a balloon, something. The one video that they couldn't officially identify whatever that object was, so they used it as like the fuck off video for the plebs, basically.
all right. We got some questions from the audience, and I want to answer people's questions about what it was like going there. You know, and Okay, I wanted. Anyways, did it feel sketchy being there? Well, when they took off, when they made me like stop at the door and take off my shaman hat and horns, and leave them there and like remove all my war paint, I was kind of like, and then they followed me around the whole time. It was super. Nah, it didn't feel sketchy at all, man. I'm just playing with you. It was actually, it was interesting being around there, dude. Like, no one followed me out, dude. And you know what's interesting is on my way out, I walked right by Senator Rand Paul. He walked right by me, and
I would have shook his
like,
hand.
Senator Rand Paul. I was like, I met you when you came to Boston like a decade ago.
Oh my God, you should have gone live with him or at least gotten pictures. Come
I
on.
know. I was like, he looked so busy and so like, he was just beeline the opposite direction, and I just didn't want to like interrupt. I should have.
I feel you on that. There's been many a celebrity, and actually, I spoke once. True story. First time I've ever said this online. I was in Montreal, and I was with touring with Wu-Tang at the time. We were staying at the Hilton downtown, and there was Mohammed Harzai there, the former president of Afghanistan, and I got to meet him and talk to him for about 30 minutes in the bar. And like I came up, the whole bar was empty. His guards were there, like Wu-Tang. Like I was with Raekwon. Two of those pictures on my Facebook with Raekwon at least, and Wu-Tang, sure, but not of President Harzai or Karzai. There we go, Karzai. And once I went in, I like went up and I noticed it was him. And I was like, okay, that's why there's these armed guards at the bar or Hilton bar. And my first question was like, what are you doing drinking? Like he shouldn't be drinking. He was the president of a Muslim country at the time. He's just like, shh. And then had a great talk with him. But yeah, definitely didn't ask for a picture with the guy in a bar.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's there's a time for that, and then sometimes it's not. But whatever. I still got to see him, and whatever. People believe me. I wouldn't make that up. Anyways, Senator Gillibrand and staff. Okay, so the question was, did I give contact information? And yes. So I got 2 business cards. I'm not going to share those publicly and I'm not going to share Mr. Frank's last name, the guy that offered to give her a personal tour of Battelle for us, and then asked me immediately for my information afterwards.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, whatever. His name was Frank, and he works in that I think he works right in that Senate Intelligence Hearing room. By the way, let's look at the thing that was on the door of that hearing room. I think I posted that up on Twitter. The picture of the what was on the door. Let me just go through this here. I'll find it. So outside the Senate hearing room, this was called the Armed Services Committee hearing room entrance. Okay. Boom. Here it is. And I'm going to share my screen and present the entire screen. So, yeah, this.
Like that, right?
If I can zoom in on this more. Yeah, there we go. A little bit zoomed in more. So this was what was on the door.
Huge $115 donation from Brian Kelly for you, brother. Thank you for supporting the cause, Brian. That is huge.
Dude, that's the first one, man. That's like paid for most of my gas for the way down there, dude. That was great, man. I'm glad we got this done. And I feel like this was progress. We at least put our name on the map if we represented a lot of people in that room and showed them that, hey, people take this seriously. This a small but growing scientific, community that's interested in pursuing something beyond rockets and particle accelerators and standard model physics. We want to push the boundaries of that standard model. Anyways, this was what was on the door. If people want to check that out. And yeah, they did give me their contact information, and I did send them a follow-up email, and I'd like to read that for everyone if you guys don't mind. I'll read you the email I sent and let you know what you can let me know what you think. So, dear Senator Gillibrand and staff, we met yesterday after the Senate hearing with Dr. Kirkpatrick, Dr. Kirkpatrick, where I expressed my concerns about the Battelle Memorial Institute and the issue of container organizations for government secrecy, aka quasi-governmental organizations, which have the powers of government organizations without any federal oversight. Battelle is a private, nonprofit institute which is completely immune from FOIA and currently has contracts to manage all of our national laboratories. By managing our national labs like Los Alamos and Oak Ridge, Battelle has created a monopoly of suppression over science and technology progress in our nation. And there are some important pieces of evidence which point to Battelle as the government's container organization for the real UFO file. Here you can view the secret 1953 Pentacle memo, which was discovered in J. Allen Hynek's notes from Project Blue Book. This memo, along with the stories of other scientists and metallurgists who worked for Battelle, claiming to have handled materials that were not built on Earth, seem to be leading to, I would like to see you ask more questions and see if there is any truth to these rumors. I'd also like to share with you a copy of my UAP technical summary report detailing a host of unclassified technologies that are not well known but can successfully explain a large number of UAP or UFO sightings. I have a bachelor's of science degree in physics from Bridgewater State University, and I have been investigating UFOs and related physics programs for nearly 2 decades. I have tracked down and interviewed a good number of scientists who worked in these programs, and I have been seeking and finding answers to the UFO question with dedication and diligence. I have the largest scientific technical database on gravity and propulsion technologies anywhere in the public domain that I'm aware of. And I work with a number of different groups interested in exploring and testing these technologies in an effort for public disclosure. I look forward to the next public hearing on the topic, and if there is any way that I can help, please let me know. And anyone you think might be able to help me, please feel free to forward my email. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to the people and to the truth. Right? So that was my letter. I don't know. And I haven't got a response back yet. So
right, like, are you going to? Highly doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt, Senator Gillibrand's going to say, hey, we booked that field trip to Battelle and we want you to come along for the ride just to,
Amazing. Jeff Orda, thank you.
everything.
Also, huge donation. Thank you, community, for coming out and covering some of Jeremy's expenses. Like, they put the money up there at a personal cost to get out there. It's good to see all of you guys helping him recoup some of this. That's amazing.
Oh, dang. Well, yeah, man, I don't know. Well, I was kind of worried when the internet shut off. I thought for sure they were like, it had something to do with something, but they seem to be
prevail.
And we are up to 150 now, which is not a super high record, but it's still a lot of people. And yeah, I had a good time down in DC, I guess. It was not like a vacation. It was more like a business trip. And I was
good that you treated that way, though, right? Like doing the business of the people the way it should be.
Yeah, I didn't have too much time to do anything. I checked out a little bit of the city and stuff and walked around. I wish I had checked out more of the Capitol and got selfies and stuff, but whatever. It's not really, I don't know. It's kind of like a, yeah.
Now you've got the gas to get back there for another day in the swamp.
Yeah, that's like a full day's parking is like $80 over there. Or let's see, we're at the hotel. It was a little bit last week, but the hotel was like 300 and change.
Jesus,
so
right?
it's just like crazy.
Yeah. So just for reference, thank you for the huge donations on Jeremy's channel, helping him cover some of the costs. But for anybody else out there able to help pitch in, it's like he's still at 2/3 of his own expense there, and we want to get him there on the regular. And who knows, 5-10 years down the road, let's get Jeremy elected and as a representative, maybe, right?
I don't know if I want to be that in that position, but I love going down there and putting our elected officials on the spot. I doubt they'd ever. I would just throw a wrench in the entire thing. You know what I mean? They would never. It would. I don't know. That would never be the same.
Yeah,
government, man. I would. But anyways, yeah, I'm happy to ask the questions and do it respectfully in the right way, and hopefully we hope to get some answers. That this was very telling, very serious stuff. So the question was the Lightcraft book, and yes, well, yes. I have a copy.
Sorry, not sure if you wanted to share screen or not.
The file is too large to preview. I can stream that. Oh, yes. This is 296 pages of engineering genius and gold. Yes. Yes, I'd love to.
Right, you should be the Battelle government in between, if anything. Like it's ridiculous how they hire the guy ran off because he's like, oh my god, there's like people that actually know physics and science and what's going on a little bit, might ask questions. So he just straight dips as soon as he's done. Like they don't even know, they don't have any sort of education in trying to understand or background to understand any of what's real, what's not real, and what could be going on.
Yeah. I am curious what exactly they were briefed on in the classified session. But hey, I'm a lobbyist now. Yes, I'm there lobbying. This is what the government and corporations pay people to go to these things and do what I just did. So let's be our own truth corporation. And when this sort of thing needs to happen, I will be your voice and I will be your lobbyist, my friends. So yeah, anyone who helps me, anyone's donated tonight is helping me fund this, these missions. So the next public hearing they have, I might have some incentive to go down. You know what I mean? It's just a huge waste of money out of pocket for me personally, it's not. I don't really have much incentive to go down, especially if they're not like super taking action on this issue. But yeah, if I can, it's there. We go.
Thank you. Splice. Huge donation as well.
Yeah, some Canada bucks.
That's one of my followers hopping over to your channel to help you out. See, there you go. Much love from Canada, brother. And thank you, Gene Splice, for helping cover the cost of Jeremy's travels. It's huge. Like this, we got to keep this going. This movement.
If I can do some real grassroots stuff, man, again, this is great. Real grassroots stuff. If we get down there, the next one, we'll get
you got to answer his question though. $70 question: Kirkpatrick or Elizondo? Definitely not Elizondo.
Kirkpatrick. I would say Kirkpatrick. But again, neither of them had access to the real programs. Elizondo was the director of ATIP, which was the fake generated program that was set up by Bigelow and Harry Reid to try to pry the lid off the UFO file. So it was a set up, made up program, and Elizondo, is high and mighty as he wants to think his position was the director of a manufactured program, and totally not the real program or programs, as I would say. It's stovepiped. There's never been like one single UFO program. If you want to get into it and really if you've done the research, that there's never been a single UFO program. There might have been one single place a repository like Battelle or this quasi-governmental organization where all this stuff goes to and sort of is held in a container organization like the Blue Room, and then leaked out to organizations like Battelle and others for, you know, metals research or other research, that whatever they think they can get from the technology at the time. But again, it's these are not the real programs. You want to get into the UAP technical summary I have, right? You have programs like this, which, you know, it's an idea that's come out, a physics idea like dynamic nuclear orientation, and using that for weight loss. That idea came out in 1959 by Frederick Alzafon, and a number of different organizations, I'm sure, have tried it over the years. I mean, we know about 1981 Boeing study that was done, you know, right here. Yeah, the Boeing's anti-gravity with present technology implementation and theoretical foundation. Alzafon, Boeing Aerospace, Seattle, Washington. Yeah, so you have those things. Then you also have, you know, guys that thought this up on their own, like John Watson in 1961 wrote, you know, a thesis paper on this idea of gravitational control, and did a bunch of research. It did a bunch of, you know, graduate research on gravitational control research that some reason the Defense Department picked up his research and classified it, and eventually it became unclassified years later. So that happens too, that, you know, just regular university research becomes classified and then goes into research programs and studies by the government, and then eventually is unclassified once they deem it, you know, unworthy or unworkable or whatever have you. So awesome. Another 51 pounds from a mate over in the UK. Alien scientist, true American hero. $51, cause this was a badass and way cooler move than storming Area 51. Dude, that's a great point, brother, because you saw how many people signed that petition to storm Area 51, and then they had that they had the government literally on their toes, thinking there was going to be all these people showing up to storm Area 51. And then literally it was just like a stupid party out in the desert, like a rave.
Yeah, right. It was like a oh, what's the one in the freaking desert? The Burning Man, right? It was more of a Burning Man than any sort of run on a military base, and like the military base, like, so idiotic. Of course that would never happen. If anything, there should be storm the Vatican archives, or
storm
like
Battelle,
right, or storm Battelle, right, or show up to the Senate hearings, which you did, and hopefully it inspires the next ones.
People showed up. I mean, DC and that Senate building was a way nicer place to hang out than a hot desert in the middle of Area 51, man. I'll tell you what, they had like a little more expensive and everything, but you know, it's just a way nicer place. It was a really nice room. I mean, that room was no expenses barred, you know, just beautiful. Like, it was beautifully set up and done. So again, there's never been one UFO program. It's a bunch of stovepiped operations. You know, you have Lockheed Martin doing its own research. You have, you know, the Skunk Works doing their private research, different from maybe some of the other guys at Lockheed Martin. You have the U.S. Navy Naval Warfare Center with these patents of the Sal Pays guy doing their own research. You have DARPA funding guys over in the UK at Plymouth University, like Dr. Mike McCulloch. So you got lots of cool stuff going on at lots of different universities, and it's just kind of like not one UFO program. It's not one, you know, I was the director and I have all this intelligence to it. It's all compartmentalized, and that's what a lot of people aren't really getting with the whole Elizondo thing. And Kirkpatrick, you know, Kirkpatrick is just a science guy who's being, you know, he's given a limited scope. He's like, he's basically the equivalent of J. Allen Hynek. You know, he's the modern Hynek, right?
Right, just the yes
He's not
man.
Paul Hill, right? So he's more like a J. Allen Hynek. He's not like a Dr. Paul Hill, right? So Dr. Paul Hill was actually studied to try to figure out how UFOs fly and how their propulsion systems work. He was a NASA guy. There's been a couple NASA guys that have were hired to do research into UFOs. What was the other guy? Alan C. Holt. Yeah. Look up this. Boom. NASA documents. Documented NASA. I mean, field resonance propulsion concept, and right in it says UFO research, right in the first foreword of the study. Now, August 1979, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Johnson Space Center. So yeah, heck yeah. Anyways, yeah, there's never been one UFO program. It's if you do the research, you know that it's lots of different programs with lots of different pieces of intelligence that are analyzed independently and of themselves, and then if they show merit, they're integrated into other programs like the SDI, Star Wars Defense Initiative program, which a lot of this new stuff is cover up of technology that is ancestor technology that from ideas and that were thought up in the 1980s under the Star Wars Defense Initiative by all the scientists they hired back in the 80s to try to dream up what the future of warfare and all that stuff would be like. In any case, I don't think that I don't think that they're going to find evidence of aliens and it's going to come out of a program like this.
Question of how does one start a petition for the government? And one thing I was thinking, you got the contact for that one good lady senator there. Is it possible, or should we all like start some sort of petition, or like email her, like do a mass email to her to bring awareness to some sort of specific issue that we should try to highlight and create, the protest over and the investigation? What should we be suing for?
Well, I mean, I just made I don't expect her or Kirkpatrick to really do anything as far as the science stuff, and I think it was not. I mean, it's interesting stuff, and it gets people interested a little bit, but it really was. I mean, it's cool that we went there and talked about it and stuff, but I don't think it caught their attention so much because they're not the ones in a position for any of that kind of stuff. That's more DARPA and there's already a sector of the government that's handling it. Like one of the things Gillibrand said in the, asked, one of the questions that she asked of Dr. Kirkpatrick is if any other, if we're, she didn't want redundancy within the government. Are there any other organizations within the government that do what ARROW does? And what does ARROW do specifically that's different from these other organizations that make it essential, make it. Why do we need ARROW? Can't we just have other agencies do kind of like these duties? Why are we doing this? So to speak. And I thought that was interesting. It's along with the Title 50 stuff, because the Title 50 stuff shows that they don't have they're not like, they're not even given access to like the real intelligence on what some of these things might be.
Right. And like compared to, it'd be interesting to know who all got exposure to what was ever in that classified briefing beforehand, and like was it that probably the same sort of access or availability as all these classified files that were just leaked by a 21-year-old National Guardsman that had access to supposed CIA analysis, daily CIA analysis, and all sorts of stuff, that was leaking it to his video game 19-year-old Discord buddies or 16-year-old Discord buddies. Like, just ridiculous. And like, how come we can't get any of these UFO secret files or classified files actually leaked and then verified? Why aren't there any actual real government disclosures on the real UFO, UAP, or classified technologies ever coming forth?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I talk about some of these programs and stuff, but it's never like brought out in the public in a grand light or a big way. I mean, the closest we've came is a couple articles that the Drive wrote on some of this stuff. But again, yeah, it's not. This stuff is swept under the rug and kept very. And it's interesting, you know, how they're able to do and keep track of and control over all this information. It's really quite. It's really quite interesting. I think that actually caught her attention. You know, people are saying, "Oh, I don't think she's, you know, interested." But of all the things anyone said there, it's kind of seemed like she was shrugging other people off a lot. But when, you know, she joked around, she even asked for the spelling again of Battelle, and then joked around and said she's going to go out there and visit with us, and we're going to do a field trip.
Right? Like, that was the most useful piece of info you could have given her, though, because it's like, hey, here's actually where all your secrets and technology are. You should probably go poke around there, and like, hopefully she doesn't go missing.
Well, they can't do that to her, man. The thing is,
she does get a visit, right?
I think a lot of the stuff has been moved out of these organizations and into other bodies and stuff too, or they're so deep within these organizations that the people running the organizations don't know about them themselves, and can just give them a runaround or whatnot. But when you tell senators that, you know, hey, I know where this stuff is and it's in this thing and you can't get it, and it's that is like, that got her attention, because these are people that like control and like to know that they have control over things, and they're showing the position of that they're the ones in control. And when you show that they don't have control, and that the government has some kind of backhanded secret way to keep our leaders and our governors and the people who are supposed to have that control, and the people who are supposed to keep those checks and balances aren't given access, then that's a problem. And that caught her attention. I think that really caught her attention. It caught a lot of the attention of the people in that room. They were looking at
enough for them to ask your name afterwards.
You know, they just took Mark's card, but I didn't have a card. They handed me their cards and they asked for my name. So I was like, heck yeah. This is great, dude. We killed it. And you know what? If I get enough donations, or someone, you know, wants to donate buy me a suit.
Right. And
I need to get a suit.
Last night, Mark came on with Tim Ventura, and they had Blake and Brent on from Third Phase there right at the start. And we were talking about it and all of that. And Tim Ventura's stoked and came on main purpose to also promote that we're restarting APEC this summer again. And I suggest, and Tim's really loving StreamYard. I'm slowly winning him over to the StreamYard. But that's before we relaunch APEC this summer, that we'll do one weekend, the best of APEC, and we'll do like a 12-hour, 24-hour, something like that. Best of the APEC, just playing some of them. We'll be live. It'll be a multi-stream that's live on all of our channels. And then it'll also be a fundraiser to keep helping us do these different conferences. And like you say, pay for these travels and continue doing this and raise more funds. If for all of those you out there seeing this and seeing us actually doing this action, the real science, the real actual engagement, accountability, and all of that, please like, share, subscribe, and for those that can afford to donate to the causes and the fundraising that we're doing, because like we're paying out of our own pockets.
We peer review and we analyze, and we'll call people out too. And if they can't defend themselves, then like I see, David Adair is another one. Him and Bob Lazar, we both invited to come on APEC or come present, to a team of scientists and technical experts. And it's hard to understand why they would turn down such an opportunity. But if they were legit. So I don't know about some of these people. So like we've given a lot of these people a platform to, and if you're
so last night I asked Blake and Brent, and supposedly Stephen Greer is still doing his Congress thing in DC in like a month or something, and like a new disclosure project. Think of Greer if he's a grifter or if he's a good disclosure force, whatever you want. But if he's there and getting people there and getting attention to it, and actually has more government people coming forward and disclosing their stories like he did in the original disclosure project 20 years ago, before it started grifting, then maybe you guys can go out we can fund you to get out to that one too, and make your face more known and seen out there in Washington DC. No,
Dude,
Stephen Greer was not there this time. He's supposed to go again in the future, supposedly.
20 seats. I thought they were going to be full. I thought Greer was going to be there, dude. No, he wasn't there, man. Stephen Greer says he's in Washington. He does all this promotion down there and for disclosure and stuff, but Greer wasn't there. I mean, I don't know.
Right, and you can confirm that he wasn't there for this one, and that's why I was confused. I thought like it was supposed to be this one. He was here, was supposed to be there, but clearly was not. So I'm wondering, so I asked Blake and Brent, and they said supposedly next month. But for all of you out there, we do know Jeremy 100% was there, and let's put him back here again, right? Let's get Jeremy back there again. Look, right there.
Yeah,
Jeremy, arms crossed,
go watch the video.
Not pleased with what you're seeing. And all those empty seats. At the very least, I'm sure you've inspired enough people, and Mark there as well. Empty seats on both sides. Let's make sure in this community that those seats aren't empty for the next one at the very least. And
I know.
Please continue donating so Jeremy can make it back there again.
Yes, once again, I'd like to thank Mark Sokol and Falcon Space for helping me put up the money just to get down there and get down there. And also thank you to Brian Kelly for that super chat, for the $115 super chat. Thank you to Jeff Orta for the $115 super chat. Thank you to Gene Spliced for the $79 or $69.99 Canadian dollar super chat. And also thank you to Comp Lazier for the 51-pound super chat, man. Don't forget to smash that like button, and please subscribe. We need all the subscribers.
Hey, you gotta flash that like button, that smash button.
Oh yeah, hey, make sure you, please. It helps the algorithms. If you love this channel best and you want to see it succeed, abduct the like button, molest the like button,
caress the like button,
the like
touch button, and the share button on all your social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Do it all, because we're getting you the truth. We're holding the government accountable, and APEC's coming back. Jeremy's going to be doing epic more presentations on his 20 years of nerding out physics.
More muckraking in the swamp. I actually visited the swamp. I usually just talk about it. I actually went there, man.
Right? And did it professionally and good, and they took you serious, so it was a good thing to see.
Heck yeah. We'll go back to the swamp. And until then,
for sure.
Washington, Take it sleazy.
Much love, brother.